The hospital lobby was quiet when the doors suddenly burst open. Everyone turned and froze. A tiny, injured puppy limped inside, dragging a black garbage bag with its teeth. Its paws were bleeding, its fur soaked, but it refused to stop. Nurses gasped, unsure whether to help or run. The little dog barked once, sharp, desperate, and tugged the bag toward the emergency room before collapsing on the floor. The head doctor rushed over, confused and trembling, as the bag twitched slightly. Then came a faint, fragile sound, like a baby's cry. What happened next left the entire hospital in shock, and turned that stray puppy into the most unexpected hero they had ever seen. The morning sun streamed gently through the hospital windows, painting soft golden streaks across the polished floors. Nurses moved between rooms with quiet smiles, their voices calm and rhythmic like the heartbeat of the building itself. Doctors checked charts, patients rested, and for a moment, everything felt perfectly ordinary. But that calm was about to shatter as the sliding glass doors at the entrance hissed open. A faint scratching sound echoed through the lobby. Heads turned. At first, no one saw anything, until a small, mud-caked puppy stumbled into view. Its fur was soaked, its tiny body trembling with exhaustion. In its teeth, it clutched a large black plastic bag, dragging it across the gleaming floor with surprising determination. Gasps filled the air. "Where did it come from?" whispered a nurse, frozen in place. The little dog's paws left faint bloody prints behind as it limped forward, eyes filled with pleading urgency. It stopped right in the middle of the lobby, dropped the bag, and barked, a single, desperate bark that sent chills down everyone's spine. Something was terribly, terribly wrong. The nurses rushed toward the trembling puppy, unsure whether to comfort it or keep their distance. Its fur was tangled with dirt and streaked with what looked like dried blood. One of the nurses, Maria, knelt slowly, holding out her hand. "Hey there, little one," she whispered. But the puppy growled softly, clutching the black bag tighter between its teeth. Its eyes darted nervously between the humans, as if trying to make them understand something urgent. "Call security," someone said. "It might be sick or dangerous." But Maria shook her head. "No, look at it. It's not attacking, it's begging." The puppy whimpered, tugging the bag closer toward the emergency ward, ignoring the commotion around it. Each pull seemed to drain its last ounce of strength. The sight of a wounded dog dragging a bag through a hospital lobby was both heartbreaking and haunting. Finally, as Maria reached out again, the puppy locked eyes with her, deep, brown, and desperate. Then, it gently released the bag, stepped back, and barked twice. The sound echoed sharply through the hall. Maria hesitated only a moment before kneeling beside the bag. The puppy's tail thumped weakly on the floor, as if urging her to hurry. What she found inside would silence the entire hospital. That Maria's hands trembled as she carefully reached for the bag. Everyone leaned closer, the air thick with tension. The puppy barked again, sharper this time, its voice echoing down the sterile hallway. A security guard stepped forward cautiously, his hand hovering near his radio. "Ma'am, don't touch it yet," he warned. "We don't know what's in there." But Maria shook her head. "This dog came here for a reason." The puppy limped beside her, panting heavily, never taking its eyes off the bag. With one slow motion, Maria untied the knot. A faint, muffled sound came from inside, so soft, most thought they imagined it. Then it came again. A tiny whimper. Maria's heart stopped. "Did anyone else hear that?" she whispered. The crowd exchanged uneasy glances. The sound grew louder, weak, struggling breaths. The security guard stepped back, eyes wide. "It's alive." The puppy barked frantically now, circling the bag, nudging it with its nose, pleading for help. Maria's breath caught as she peeled back the black plastic layer, revealing a glimpse of something wrapped in an old towel. She froze, her voice breaking as she whispered, "Oh my God! Someone call a doctor now." Within seconds, chaos erupted. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Inside, nestled in a blood-stained towel, was a newborn baby, pale, barely breathing, its tiny fingers twitching weakly. For a split second, the room fell silent. Then chaos erupted. "Get an incubator, now," shouted Dr. Harris as he sprinted toward them. Nurses scattered into motion, wheeling equipment down the hall. The baby let out the faintest cry, a fragile sound that sent tears streaming down her cheeks. The puppy whimpered beside the stretcher, its head resting against the metal frame. Its body trembled, tail still. It seemed to know the child's life hung by a thread. Doctors surrounded the baby, attaching oxygen tubes, monitoring heartbeats. The readings were dangerously low. Hypothermia, muttered one nurse. If this puppy hadn't brought it here. Everyone paused, exchanging stunned looks. The reality hit them all. The dog had carried the child through the streets. In freezing temperatures, probably for miles, the baby was rushed to the neonatal unit. Maria looked down at the puppy, whose eyes never left the door. You saved a life today, she whispered softly. The puppy gave a faint whine, then laid its head down, finally allowing itself to rest. The next morning. The story of the mysterious puppy had already spread through the hospital like wildfire. Inside, doctors worked tirelessly to stabilize the newborn. The baby was weak but alive. Thanks to the tiny stray who had refused to give up, Detective Ramirez arrived to investigate, piecing together how the infant had ended up in that black bag. Security footage showed the puppy limping through empty streets at dawn, dragging the bag across puddles and gravel. It had crossed intersections, dodged cars, even rested under a bus stop before continuing its journey. No one had stopped to help. There, under a pile of cardboard boxes, were signs of birth, blood, rags, and footprints leading away. The baby had been left to die, but the puppy had found it, curled around the crying infant to keep it warm. Maria stood at the window, tears in her eyes as she watched the footage. He must have heard the baby crying, she whispered. Dr. Harris nodded, and carried it all the way here. The room fell silent again. Somehow, this small, wounded creature had done what no human did. It had answered a cry for help. Days passed, and the hospital slowly returned to its routine, except for one new, very special patient. The puppy, now cleaned and bandaged, rested in a warm blanket near the neonatal unit. Nurses brought it food and water, calling it Lucky, though Maria preferred to whisper another name, Hero. Meanwhile, the baby, though fragile, grew stronger each day. Doctors marveled at the progress. It's a miracle, Dr. Harris said softly. If that puppy had been even an hour later, the child wouldn't have survived. The story spread beyond the hospital, touching millions around the world. Messages poured in from people offering donations, adoption requests, and letters praising the dog's courage. A week later, the staff gathered in the pediatric ward. Maria carried the tiny infant, wrapped in a soft white blanket, to the corner where Lucky lay. The puppy perked up, ears twitching, eyes gentle. As she knelt beside it, the baby's small fingers reached out, brushing against the pup's nose. Lucky wagged its tail weakly and gave a soft whimper. The room fell silent, every nurse and doctor wiping tears. That's who saved you, Maria whispered to the baby. Your guardian angel. Later that afternoon, the hospital board announced that the stray would never go homeless again. Lucky was officially adopted by the hospital staff. From that day forward, he became the hospital's symbol of compassion and courage. His small paw prints painted on the lobby floor near the entrance where he first arrived, months later. When the baby finally went home with a loving family, Lucky sat by the door, tail wagging proudly, as if he already knew. And so, a story that began with pain ended in hope, reminding the world that heroes come in all shapes, sizes, and sometimes with 4 paws.